How I made my own mason jar pipe lights. The on-off switch is hidden in a gate valve. I wanted them to twinkle like fireflies caught in a jar. This is what they look like overnight. I'm starting with a $15 set of 250 warm white LEDs. Any alterations are to be done after the power supply, never before. For safety reasons, this is not a how-to video, it's just a this is what I did video. Get the ones with a white cord so you don't see it through the jar. I got a cheap pack of dirty old mason jars, gave them a good clean, then mixed up my paint. I'm using orange and yellow cheap acrylic paint and PVA glue to help with adhesion. I used 2 parts paint to 1 part PVA. Mix with an old sponge brush and coat the inside of the mason jars. Do a couple of coats until it's almost a solid colour, then mix up a yellow version. Repeat the process to add some depth and slight colour variation to the jar. For the lids, I used an adjustable circular cutter to cut out a hole in the centre, sandpaper to roughen up the surface, 2-part epoxy around the edge, and added on the galvanised reduced socket. Going from the wall, I have a 1/2 inch flange, a 1/2 inch hex nipple, 1/2 inch female to female elbow, 1/2 inch to 3/4 reduced nipple, and finally a 3/4 to 1 inch reduced socket. I drew up this sketch and will add that to the written instructions over on my website. Gave them a black undercoat, then sprayed them gold to match the warmer tones of the walls and lights. I couldn't find cheap enough golden button heads, so I screwed these into an offcut and sprayed them gold. Moving on to the lights. 2 of the jars will have 41 LEDs and 4 of the jars will have 42 LEDs, with a total of 250 lights over 6 mason jars. There is a lot of cutting and joining, so I kept everything neat and organised. Masking tape on one strand, numbered to suit, black marker on another strand, and the other left blank. Clear zip ties to hold the light bowls together, and this is what I have so far. The reason I wrote the number twice is so when I cut it in half, I can still see what's what. Here I am confirming my marks before I cut right through. I'm using the multimeter with my little helper. Thank you.
And to this one?
Nope, don't need to. I know that tag one is the same as that tag one. That one I know for sure, consistently.
2 and 3?
Yeah. I'm using 3 different coloured wires for ease of distinction, cutting them to a length that will easily fit through the entire galvanised assembly. Stripping all the ends, feathering them open and twisting the new length to the light ball, soldering them together, heat shrink and relabeled everything. Refuel, missed.
First try.
With the power supply that comes with the Christmas lights, I wire in long lengths for the positive and negative that run through the wall. The rotary switch gets wired into the positive side, so now is probably a good time to explain the gate valve on-off switch. I saw this great video years ago by Crane Video. I will link to that in the description box below. That is what inspired this entire project for me, and I've been gathering up parts for this for many years. I decided to put my assembly in the wall, so I did some things slightly different. Disassemble the gate valve. I'm only going to be using the hand wheel and stem. Drill the threads out of a 1/2 inch flange and press in the hand wheel assembly. We're just doing a dry fit at this stage to get the length of the clear tube figured out. Drill a hole in some scrap plastic to create a mounting bracket for the rotary switch. I took the wall paling off, drilled a hole through, and then we spaced the mounting bracket with some nuts. Attach the rotary switch to the stem of the gate valve with a short length of clear tube. I should have painted the flange first, but here we are. Back to the wiring. Place each ball of Christmas lights into a mason jar. I keep testing as I go with a battery pack to make sure everything is wired up correctly. Between each light, I have 3 strands of wire running behind the wall that connects each light assembly together. For this assembly, the 3 wires labelled number 3 will get wired into my left, and the 3 wires labelled number 4 will get wired into my right. To keep the tension off of the wires while working on them, I am using a hook to hold the weight of the gal pipes and glass jar. Solder, heat shrink, then attach the flange to the wall and repeat the process for the next one. The power supply is plugged into the power point and left on so that the rotary switch can do all the work. This also means that the twinkle flash setting remains as the default setting without having to constantly change it every time you turn it on and off, which will be a lot because this gate valve switch is very enjoyable to use.